Hi, happy Friday. I hope you are doing fine and I hope you are dry during this very gloomy and rainy week that we've been having here in the DC area, as well as pretty much many parts of the East Coast area. Um, so I have a journal that I've kept with me for many years, and in this journal, I document, my thoughts, my perspectives, different topics that really came into my mind. And what's interesting is that I have kept this notebook for so many years, and just really to myself, um, it's a notebook that I have went back, reflected on, over the years. Um, but not all, but some of the topics that I have in this journal, I have shared with you. And what's interesting is that never in a million years would I have thought that I would share my thoughts and perspectives with anyone, let alone on a public platform, because in real life I am extremely shy and very introverted and very to myself. But I'm just so happy to be able to share my thoughts, my perspectives, and my feelings with you. And I really and truly hope that it has positively impacted you in one way or another. So I know when I tell my family too, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you actually opened up and just kind of shared some of your thoughts," because they've been telling me for years to put it out there. But I really hope it's impacted you, because it's something that's really been hidden and just kept, in my room for so many years. So, but today I just wanted to talk or briefly discuss a topic that has been on my mind and that I feel is a very important topic, which is to always trust God. So, what does it mean to trust God? Trusting God to me means having faith when things are going great and when things are difficult or challenging. It's when we really don't have all the answers and really don't know what to do. But trusting God that it'll pretty much all come through. Trusting isn't always easy, because it's letting go and placing our well-being into the hands of another. How do we know God can be trusted? Just look into His Word, His character, His faithfulness, His reputation, His delivery. He can be trusted because it's just naturally who He is. He's well balanced and unchanging. Since the very beginning, Jesus has always remained faithful and trustworthy. Trust God with all your heart, to the point that when you actually don't, you start to feel worried doubt and anxiety. But when you do, you're completely filled with peace. God is only the one who will be able to remove things in your life that aren't for you or meant for you. Ask yourself, would I want to hang into things that are really no good? Sometimes challenges can actually make things a lot better in our lives. There's lifelong pain that goes and gets people pretty much nowhere in life. But if you embrace the right kind of pain for a short while, it can bring you to a completely different and much better place in your life. When you feel stuck or just don't understand, remember that God allows us to really go through something just to prepare us to help others. All you have to do is just look back at some point in your life where you went through challenging times and you really just didn't understand it at all. But now when you look back, you can understand why it happened. And that's pretty much because of God. He's the only one who would just never let us down. It's normal to feel upset when things don't turn out, the way that we hoped for it to turn out. But if you really think about it, that really has nothing to do with God. Usually it's our own experience and our own reasons for our disappointments, and not actually God. Challenges are just a natural part of life, regardless of your social status, your personal status, your financial status. Challenges could never be erased or removed from your life. And our faith is really important, especially, during times like this. It should be important throughout all times, but usually people don't realize it until challenging times. We need faith when things are hard, when we don't have the answers and we really don't know what to do. But trusting God is believing that He loves us and knowing all that He wants is only the best for us. Trusting God strengthens our faith, offers us peace, clarity, and guidance. And these are some ways that I feel will help guide you in trusting through Him. Study His message. Try getting into the habit of reading, observing, and applying God's message. It's important for God to trust us just as much as we trust Him. When you get into the habit of studying the words, you can literally hear and feel His connection. You also develop a strong spirit, which is so important and which is really key, because you'll learn to make decisions based on what He's leading you to and not just what you think, feel, or want. You also develop a strong spirit, which is key, because you'll learn to make decisions based on what He's leading you to do and not just what you think, feel, or want. When you go beyond what you want, what you think, and follow God's plan just naturally, you're able to develop good habits and break any bad habits that you may have. You'll be in a place where the blessings of God literally just overflow in your life. Pray about it. Let's say you have a lot of toxic friends and it's affected or changed your life or your outlook, even your attitude in one way or another. Ask God to remove any toxic people or environments from you, even if you're lonely for a while. And if you are lonely for a while, it's okay. But ask God to bring the right people in your life that you're comfortable with and that you can completely trust. Journey with God. The only way to truly trust God, I believe, is by having a deep spiritual relationship with God. Literally, little by little, you'll be able to realize that you're actually on a beautiful journey with Him, because you've developed trust, really gotten to know His character, knowing He's with you as you walk through your life's journey and path. Don't be confused. Confusion happens when you just don't understand and you try to figure things out that really only God knows. You can't be confused unless you stop trying to really figure everything out. You don't need all the answers. It's normal to try and figure things out. But putting our trust in God means that there will be and clearly be some unanswered questions. If you don't know the answer or the reasons to some of the challenges that you are facing, it's okay. You're not designed to know everything. It really, if you think about it, it really wouldn't do any good for us to know anything or everything. Imagine, let's say that a student who knows right now what it will take for them to build their future. A lot of students might be discouraged or really completely stop and forget all about it. embrace the beauty that's yet to be known. There wouldn't even really be a need for trust if you knew everything. So be okay with not knowing all of the answers. Enjoy the mystery. Our world is filled with mysteries. God placed this sense of mystery all into our hearts. We should be excited and enjoy the mystery of mysteries. If you think about it, when you are mysterious, you are difficult to figure out, you're impossible to understand, but yet others are drawn to you and really want to get closer to you. And if you really analyze it, God is a mystery because no one can really figure him out. And last but not least is to always trust God. Remind yourself of God's trustworthy character. You may only see your current situation, but God sees the entire picture. It's like when you get a puzzle, you usually don't look inside of that puzzle to see what it actually looks like. You just look and get the one that has a beautiful picture on it. So that's an example of how we should always trust God. It's no different when God gives a vision for us to do something. We usually go based on the picture that we see, not realizing that there are just so many pieces inside to complete that vision. And like a puzzle, when you start to put the pieces all back together, it can definitely be intimidating at first. But once you get into it, you'll definitely realize the amount of trust and patience that it took for each piece to really come and be put together. Placing your trust in God definitely takes time, as well as faith. And even with those who feel faithless, you can trust God that He will remain faithful to all of His promises, because He only wants the best for us. Never pray or reach out to God just for a great result, but trust in all His ways and in every situation. Because your relationship with God cannot and should never be based on whether He's giving you what you want or what you expect. He's given all of us really more than enough than anyone deserves. And the one who deserves complete trust is God. When you trust God, you never have to think or worry. You let God bring the right things to you. Sometimes a lot of things that you think are terrible actually turn out to be really great. Allow God to do what He does in your life. He is love. He is faithful. It's easy, really, to trust Him with yourself and with your future. You will always, or you can always go through challenging times in an optimistic, stable, peaceful, positive, and trusting way, even when it seems impossible. But that only comes when you trust in God. And I hope you have a beautiful and amazing and productive weekend and week.